I was thinking, what would Jeremy Irons' character sheet look like? Let's just go over some key stats here.
I feel like it would be written in all caps, for starters.
Everything would be in quotation marks as well. You know how people erroneously use those?
What's the maximum you can get for a base level charisma, like 18 or something? He'd get like 40.
Yeah. And I feel like the sheet would generally just be covered with dots of spittle.
As he recounts his abilities in character.
Torn in half, clumsily taped back together.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is maxed out. Jeremy, this isn't. You can't do this. Have you? We need
Can't
to.
I?
I'll link you. I'll link you somewhere where you can work all your stats out. Oh no. Okay, you're max. You're just. Okay.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah,
just
you say that.
spilled
He's
ink all
just, the
over it.
Empress says we don't have the power, but I say we do, my friend. You're like, oh God. Okay, he's starting.
Under appearance, it just has a sketch of his face doing that smile.
Oh shit. Okay, man. Okay. It's cool. That's cool.
Appearance, Jeremy Irons. Got it. Yep. Exactly. Exactly what you're bringing.
Characteristics: Jeremy's iron.
Charisma, Jeremy Irons. Motherfucker. Hello, and welcome to One Good Thing, the podcast that always scores a critical hit on fun. I'm Paul Sold.
I'm a disgrace to Izmir.
And here, in the closing week of recommendations fortnight, we are joined by the lovable bards from the Simpsons Index and Throne of Games. Hail and well met, beautiful strangers. Please explain your mystical identities and podcasts.
Hello, I'm Elliot J. O'Neill, a.k.a. Bafflesar, a.k.a. Brashius Fulhardio, and a.k.a. his son, Branchius Fulhardio, and I host the Simpsons Index.
Ahoy there. I am BT Calloway, also the Eternal DM, also a D4 that you dropped on the floor and is now patiently waiting for you to step on it.
He played that like the Lego movie. He played the D4.
Oh, yes. For I am all dice.
Oh, that's the sharpest of all dice.
Oh,
I'm getting cringes just thinking about
Yeah,
that.
there's a lot of good
Classic
memes
beat.
around it. It's pretty funny.
Yes, I suppose I should also introduce myself as DM/Prudence Weatherby. We've all been
Yeah.
weird shit in other games.
Yeah.
And I'm also Mint Nation, lovable, foolish killing machine monk. who dances for quests.
And also,
Oh, Monster of the Week, I play Kiefer Campbell. And I play... What's her fucking name? Cassioptrix. Cassioptrix, the divine beef broth addicted angel child.
Demon Child. She was horrible. She's the Omen. Elliot and BT have challenged us to undertake a swampy trip into the abyss known as the year 2000's Dungeons and Dragons.
Woo.
In a faraway world,
All people deserve free and equal.
The child is not fit to govern an empire.
the forces of darkness, you can control dragons. With the dragon army at my command, I can crush the Empress.
This has got to be some twisted magic experiment gone seriously wrong.
Have threatened to conquer a kingdom.
What can I do to stop Profion?
If you could obtain the Rod of Savril, you could control red dragons.
I suggest we lay low, let the whole thing blow over, come back, rob everybody. There's one small problem. I kind of committed us to find it.
Based on the popular role-playing game Dungeons and Dragons by Gary Gygax and another guy.
Whoever.
Now,
Gax.
Guy
whoever.
Napster, probably.
guy whose name isn't as memorable as Gary Gygax.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
Wow, other guy got really Zuckerberged there.
Yeah, he did, because, yeah, maybe that's it. You just have to have a memorable name.
Yeah.
Although Steve Jobs and then Steve Wozniak, you'd think, you'd
It's
go
too hard to say,
Wozniak,
though.
right?
Guy
Yeah,
Gax
I
is a
guess.
good has a good mouthfeel. Wozniak
true.
is just too foreign.
Oh.
Incidentally, I'm changing my name to Paulie Gugax.
Oh, Christ. Well, look, some asshole wrote a fucking book about the film's production in the Wikipedia article. It's just a saga of people not being interested that much, which in many ways continues to this day.
It really does read like the Super Mario Brothers movie as well. We tried to get this developed and no one cared. So we took it
Yeah,
somewhere
no one
else
gave
and
a
still
shit.
no one cared.
It was actually a fucking passion project. Director Courtney Solomon was trying to make this thing since 1990, and he spent 18 months trying to get a meeting, and then 3 months pitching.
Oh, man. That's so sad.
We talked about the Power Rangers video game on Rival Podcast Ultra 64 recently, and that also has a very interesting saga of Chaim Saban trying to get the Power Rangers show made for, years, and to a point where people were saying, give the fuck up, dude, no one's buying this. And it's just interesting when it works and when it doesn't.
Yeah, because there's a YouTube channel called Good Bad Flicks who cover this, and he does definitely delve into how hard the writer-director worked to finally get this made, and it was kind of like an example of, I mean, so often the story is, he worked and worked for years, and no one believed it, and he finally came out, and he made a massive hit, and this one is, he worked and finally got out, and it's this movie.
It happens. We've seen it before on OGT. Sometimes you just fight. I mean, nothing is going to beat the fucking Thief and the Cobbler, which, was in production for something like 40 years before it was released and was terrible.
The Adam Sandler movie?
No.
Oh, no, that's just The Cobbler.
That's just The Cobbler, yeah. This is the animated movie.
Yeah.
Starring Matthew Broderick.
It's just about cobblers. Both of the shoe variety and the dessert variety.
And the nonsense variety. It was, this was meant to be a $100 million movie, James Wen style, with a big name in the director's chair. They talked about Francis Ford Coppola, James Cameron, Rennie Harlin, Stan Winston. Spot the odd one out. But unfortunately, fantasy movies didn't make money in the 80s and 90s. Something very important to remember about those is they didn't make money then. Eventually, Joel Silver of Die Hard and The Matrix gets involved, and Solomon agrees to direct the film himself, and 2 important realizations are made. Firstly, Prague has a lot of old shit, so you don't have to spend bank on sets if you just go there. Secondly, apparently, according to their logic, CGI means you don't have to spend as much money on special effects, and if nothing else, this film is a testament to the success of that philosophy.
Yeah. It's a shame it wasn't more wider known, this film. In that respect.
Yeah, this could have been the cautionary tale to end all others, but nevertheless, they still had to raise a lot of money, including a $25,000 bank loan by Solomon and his granddad. At the time, this was the biggest budget independent film ever produced.
Wow.
And it's all up there on screen.
In Marlon Wayans, in his haircut.
It was all to hire Marlon Wayans. He wasn't coming cheap. But they knew. They knew it was the key to all of this.
He didn't know anything about that Dungeons and Dragons nerd shit.
Apparently he did, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he was like Birch was the one who was really nasty to D&D fans. Marlon Wayans apparently played it in college.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, I take it back then. I'm sorry, Marlon Wayans.
Fuck you, Birch.
I know. I think that is a requirement of this viewing. Fuck you, Birch.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you've had a weird and hard career, and your dad's kind of a monster, but God damn, wake up.
Nevertheless, but look, here are some just tidbits from the lengthy production section of the goddamn article, because everything we covered so far was pre-pro.
The book of production.
Yeah.
Okay, the movie had 2 weeks of rehearsals, including an 8-day script read through at Solomon's apartment.
Wow.
8 days to practice this.
There's 7 pages.
And this is a long movie. That is not much.
Oh, Christ. Marlon Wayans shot this at the same time as Requiem for a Dream. Good fun there.
Oh.
That's right, he was in.
Yeah, that's quite a good headspace to be traveling.
I forget, how prevalent the Wayans were during this time.
I know, right? They had their greasy mitts all over the place. Look, the room with all the bones that Jeremy Irons lives in the movie is actually the Sedlec Ossuary in Prague, and all of the bones are real.
Horror in Prague.
In Prague.
I've been there. It's fantastic.
Oh, awesome!
Oh, cool.
It's all real bones from people who died at the Black Death.
Yep.
And most of the time, you're not allowed to film in there because the government considers it a holy place and doesn't want the.
But they rolled a 20 on a charisma check.
They got it. They said they didn't want the negative connotations of the heavy metal bands that were usually applying to play there. They wanted a nice positive movie like this one.
Like Jeremy Irons just spitting everywhere.
I'll take that.
20, you saw. There's no dice in here, Jeremy.
I don't know why they draw the line at that guy yelling versus heavy metal bands yelling.
Oh, we've got another application from corpse fucker child molesters.
What's this? Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, that's nice. Family-friendly fantasy adventure. Oh, lovely.
Yeah, love that. The director I'm going to read this word for word. The director went for a strong wow factor with the film, saying you have to be able to say wow at least 10 times in the first 30 minutes. And I'll say mission fucking accomplished. I definitely did that. Whalen prepared for this role by watching Dungeons & Dragons games in person, but then realized that it seemed to mostly be about arguing, which is reassuring from my perspective. I'm glad that was his experience of the great game. That'd be great if during this film, just during a fight, it's like, no, I fucking have a modifier.
Yeah.
What do you mean I miss?
Well, usually it's like not even arguing about game rules. It's just arguing about, should we rob this shopkeeper? And doing that out in the open. And our DM patiently going, he can hear this. He becomes suspicious and asks you to leave. Damn it, you rolled a 20. I guess he's dead and you rob his shop.
Yeah, well done.
Great, well, let me just get rid of the notes of the quest that he was going to give you.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I just set that on fire in front of you.
His brother shows up. Oh, where is my brother? He had a great quest to give out. Let me just...
I didn't like him anyway.
Read his notes. Oh, Christ. Look, in the end, it was distributed by New Line Cinema, and insiders theorize that this may have been released to stimulate the fantasy crowd ahead of The Lord of the Rings, the first of which was released a year later. So, yeah, I don't know, if you compare it to like a meal, it's like a shitty appetizer in order to get you hungry, but also really make you want mains.
Yeah.
There's somehow a lot of it, but I don't feel like I've eaten anything.
Fortunately, they served that terrible, terrible, evil meal to 3 people, so no one really worried about the main course.
Yeah, true. Some of those people were critics who reacted to the film like a big scary dragon.
Oh no, etc., etc.
Rob Vo.
A red one.
Oh no, that's the bad one. Oh god, get the book out.
Very good DM.
Reds are pretty bad. Red's your top tier chromatic dragon.
Rob Vo over at Flipside Movie Emporium says, Whalen prepared for his role by watching Dungeons & Dragons games in person. No, sorry, that's, oh dear. Oh dear, I don't have his
Whalen
quote.
said, Paul Salt said.
Oh dear, is it worth the effort to try and find out what Rob Vo said, or just move on and cut this whole thing?
He said it was a great movie, and he's against immigration. So, moving on.
He's the worst man ever, it's Rob Vo. The public were even less likely to make the charisma roll necessary to lie about this being bullshit. G. Francis at Amazon said, Whalen prepared for his role. I'm just fucking with you. He said, too many dungeons, not enough dragons. I mean, there were a lot of dragons.
So many dragons.
There were so many. I think really it's quality over quantity that you need to be worried about.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the big issues for me with all of this was that no one really understood what Dungeons and Dragons was. But this person not only didn't understand that, but didn't understand what he was seeing on film.
Just didn't understand the basic stimulus that was coming from around him.
Yeah.
Most basic data.
Now, I will say this. Due to personal circumstances on my end, I do not have access to the Threeman database today, but I will by tomorrow and will record an insert. So all I ask is that you guys just record a generic reaction that I can put in afterwards right now. Threeman, who's a Threeman today? Unfortunately, it's 2 big uns. It's Jeremy Irons and Marlon Waylands. Truly, this is a most deserved Threeman award. Jeremy became a 2-man right back in episode 6, Assassin's Creed, after his appearance in our debut film, Batman vs. Superman. Surely that's one of the longest payoffs in One Good Thing history. Ah, Owly, no!
That fucking wanker, child molester.
Who would have thought we'd come here? What?
My stars.
Golly gosh, what a surprise.
Perfect. And I'll carefully edit around that and make sure I use the appropriate one. I won't just put all of that in exactly as you just performed it, obviously. That would be
that's
terrible.
good.
Crazy.
I didn't like my second
It'd be something
take.
Rob Vo would do.
Oh, free to a mag, free in the bush, free, yo. Film's a shit, mate.
Oh, Christ. Well, look, the film has 3.6 on IMDb, 10 on Rotten Tomatoes, 14% on Metacritic, and did not even make its production budget back.
When you said 10 on Rotten Tomatoes, I went, oh, that's amazing. Oh, no, wait, it's percent.
Yeah.
Yeah. A whole 10%. But in spite of that, it did get 2 sequels. The second one featuring the guy with the blue lips from this, who I refer to as Toothpaste guy.
Not Arnold Vosloo.
Not Arnold Vosloo. They are hoping to make a Dungeons & Dragons movie to be released in 2022.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah, trying to capitalize on the popularity of recent D&D podcasts and such. It's the guys who wrote Spider-Man Homecoming, but also a lot of shit in addition to that. So it's on shaky ground. It's not even in pre-production yet, so we shall see. But meanwhile, this did get made. So, Elliot and BT, you quassits. What's one thing about Dungeons & Dragons the movie that made you want to send young adventurers to their deaths? By which I mean, why are we watching this?
Well, actually, I'm one of maybe the 8 people who saw this in cinemas. Not really because I actually loved Dungeons & Dragons yet. I'd never even played. I was just overseas with my family in North Carolina, and they were like, hey, we're going to go to the movies. You want to come? I'm like, yes, I do. I like going to movies. So I saw this and was like, well, this is pleasant garbage. And then years later looked it up again and went, yep, nope, definitely pleasant garbage. I mean, it's a bad movie with its charms that at a certain point just becomes a bad movie. So I thought I would share that with everyone.
Absolutely perfect. Exactly the kind of thing that we like. And Elliot, I assume, what was your prior experience?
Well, yeah, because we sort of got into D&D, our friends group, about 6 years ago.
Gosh,
right.
Yeah. And yeah, BT over here has been our DM pretty much since day dot. Like, you've only had like a couple of games not DMing, right?
Yeah, like 4.
Yeah, out of, God, must be dozens
6
by now. Yeah, 6 years worth of games and multiple campaigns. And like, yeah, he's really into it, and I'm like an enthusiastic amateur, I guess I'd call myself at this stage. I've recently, for the first few years, I was like playing as a barbarian because that was kind of easy for me to get my head around the mechanics and everything. But recently, I've tried taking up being a cleric, and it's like, oh shit, I'm not nearly as smart as my character is.
That is so not the story of our cleric. That's amazing. Our cleric is so much more intelligent in real life than her character in the actual game.
It's been the best, made the best string of decisions.
Yeah. I think I've mentioned it on this podcast before. I once did a campaign where I gave each of the players a curse. I can't remember any of the other curses, actually. Goodman, were you having to hold on to a mirror, and if you let it go, any damage you suffered, the mirror image got, but if you let go of the mirror, then you would get all the damage.
Yeah,
was it a portrait or something?
It was something like that. It's
really
hard to
Grace,
remember in light of... Yeah, it's just hard to remember in light of...
Well, yes, because one of my characters, the cleric, we turned him into a cat, and then at the end of the game, when everybody, fixed it and they got their curses reversed, the player, she said, I don't want to change back. And she has been a cat ever since. It's really good. And she was our charismatic one. So she was like the one who would do all the talking or gathering information, and now it's just a fucking cat doing it.
Yeah, a cat carried around by an attractive 18-year-old
surf guy.
Disciple surf guy, yeah.
Yeah, because we retired these characters once and then brought them back, and she went and started a cult on the beach. And so it's just one of her followers now, just carrying around on a cushion.
See, this is why I love D&D, just the sentences that get invented because of this game.
Exactly. That cat just failed that charisma check. Yeah, let's find out what happens in Dungeons & Dragons.
Oh.
We start with exposition. It turns out there's Queen Amidala, played by Flora Birch, and she wants everyone to be happy. But there's also an evil mage, Jeremy Irons, who doesn't. It's a rich lore we've got going on.
There is some certain Star Wars influences in this, but I love how they got influenced by the politics of Phantom Menace.
Yeah, right? They preempted the Phantom... Oh, no, it was just after, yeah. 1 year after Phantom Menace, and they thought, that's what we've got to have in our movie.
Sweet. How's the experiment in making D&D, convincing people who don't play D&D that D&D isn't exactly what they think, what they're seeing on screen right now going? It's going not very well, actually, surprisingly.
Shame. We get an establishing shot of a fantastical city, and I think, oh fuck, I put on a Let's Play of Neverwinter Nights by mistake.
Well, I like that they go for the epic sweeping pan of the fantasy city, but it's mostly just bridge, sewer. You get the hint of like some hot Thai towers, but you don't really see them.
No, I love zoom straight into the sewer. It's very, very much a mood setter.
But then Thingo and Thingo, Marlon Wayans and Ridley Freeboy, they're at Disneyland together.
We have to establish two other guys first, which is Jeremy Irons, who introduces himself, and it's just great, just immediately. He's fucking great.
Yeah.
Good. I can use every ounce of your rage. Follow me. I said follow me!
He's
I
brilliant.
immediately love him. And he has a new toy that lets him control the Scorpion King, only it doesn't work for some reason. Much to the chagrin of his best friend, guy who recently brushed his teeth.
Sacha Arnold Vosloo, who was in the first two Mummies, and really, remembers a time where they didn't rely completely on CGI. And he's there just to remind Jeremy Irons of that. No, he wasn't in the Mummy. He just looks like the guy who was in the Mummy. This guy, I don't know who he's in real life, but in this he's Damander or something. Or Damander. Damn it, Dan.
Toothpaste.
Captain Damn it, Dan, the toothpaste man.
Oh god, but after his plan to control a dragon doesn't work, he decides to character assassinate the queen. Yeah.
That's successful
plan
for a bit.
B.
Yeah.
It's like, if I can't control dragons, I'm just going to really make sure everyone hates this lady.
Thora Birch is the queen.
War benefits no one, Prothean, and I oppose it. But if it is necessary to obtain the freedom of our people, then no cost could be too great to achieve that goal.
She's in it.
Yeah. She's in it sometimes.
Yeah.
He certainly is.
In between. Yeah. But yeah, let's meet our main characters, John Main Guy and Ruby Rod, as I call him.
The magic school.
The what? The magic school? Are you crazy?
We'll break into the magic school.
No.
Think of what we could get, and with the fire, it won't be heavily guarded.
No.
Think of the challenge, Snails. Think of what we could find in there. If we pull this off, we'll be the envy of every thief in Sumdal. Trust me.
So, why is Marlon Wayans' character called Snails? It just undercuts
fantasy.
every powerful moment that they're going for that involves the character Snails.
I'm going to miss you, Snails. Spoiler.
Well, I have a theory, but we can get to that at the end, or towards the end,
Okay.
after the main plots discussion.
Is it that the director's character was called Snails?
Oh no, don't worry, it fixes everything.
Oh,
Oh,
sweet.
shit.
Okay.
Well,
I'm
look,
looking forward to this.
They decide to break into Hogwarts, where Grand Maester Pycelle is lecturing Rachel Weisz on magic and responsibility. But she dreams of something more.
Idiot.
Adventure in the Great Wide Somewhere.
She dreams that she meets two extremely unlikable one-dimensional characters very, very soon for no reason at all, and then embarks on a journey where they don't earn their togetherness or any sense of belonging. So she's going to be lucky in that respect. Because that happens. The two boys, Wingus and Dingus, they break in, steal some shit, and then she shows up, and then that's sort of it.
Yeah.
Vosloo, Captain Dan the Toothpaste Man, says he comes in and kills Pycelle.
Yeah.
For reasons. And then they all escape and they get caught up with a dwarf.
Yes.
Who's now their best friend.
Played by Jonathan Loughran in my head.
But it's actually the We Know Your Ear Poppet from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh yeah, it is too.
Which is just as good as Jonathan Loughran. Yeah, I know.
Jesus Christ.
Poor guy, he was probably going to have a career.
Well, at least he got a lot of valuable screen time eating chicken and never battling.
Fuck yeah. Look, you don't want to see these guys fight. That would be ridiculous. What I love most about that character is how they sometimes remember he's meant to be short. And sometimes he's just like clearly squatting in frame or like waddling. And other times he's just not short. They just forget.
Trying to get up out of that chair? No.
Imagine one day in the background of shot, like they were doing the Hobbit sequence, and just full Gimli just walked past.
He's a tall man.
I think you'll find a wizard did it.
Oh shit! Of course. Meanwhile, in the cantina scene, they get away from Toothpaste and
Star Wars again.
Main Guy and Rachel Weisz get pointlessly Jumanji'd into a scroll in a scene that we will not see. And but Toothpaste finds the inn. Oh no! And he stands obviously in the door for ages, allowing everyone to do things for a long time.
Yeah. Such as Marlon Wayans, he meets up with the most patient woman in the universe, an elf who's...
Are you looking for somebody in particular? Or are you just looking for somebody?
Who's looking for, I guess, the same thing. Oh, they're all looking for a rod, by the way, at this stage, right?
Fantastic rod.
It's established.
They've got to get their hands on that rod.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't she the town guard, like leader of the town guard, who was specifically looking for them and then finds them and then just half flirts with him for a bit?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not how I didn't read it as flirting, but the rest of it is probably factually accurate, yeah.
I said half.
Oh, okay. Half in the sense that Marlon Wayans thought so.
I have trouble distinguishing between flirting and just polite tolerance in my day-to-day.
Has to be pepper spray or it's on.
I'm not getting a hint.
Just a clear signal.
Yeah, please.
Just kicking me in the balls. Look, either way, love, just let me know.
Is that pepper spray in your pocket or oh shit, it's pepper spray? No, I'm leaving.
I still don't hear a no. So Captain Damn It Down the Toothpaste Man from Northampton. So, he fails to wrangle them all up. And Jeremy Irons punishes him by having a camera look at him for a very long time as a CGI snake.
Yeah.
Sort of writhes about him for a bit.
Well, he casts a gurning spell on him, which has an extraordinary effect on his face.
Extremely high constitution save.
Now, just might be me because I adore the Mortal Kombat film franchise, as previously stated in our previous appearance, but did this head snake look a lot like the things that came out of Scorpion's hands in the first
must have been the
Mortal
same
Kombat movie?
A little bit.
Yeah,
you're right,
I reckon
so.
so.
We're reusing that. It worked so well last time.
No one will care.
No one's going to notice anything other than this fucking toothpaste man's face. It's extraordinary acting.
How can you take your eyes off those lips?
Yeah.
Does he know he's got toothpaste on it? Like, did anyone tell him?
Yeah.
That would be so awkward if just as he gets stabbed right at the end, spoiler alert, he's just like, by the way, you got something just here. Oh, no.
It's been
Bloody
days.
hell.
Why did no one tell me?
We thought it was your character.
Well, at least thank you for letting me die with a little dignity.
Wow.
But look, some terrible editing sees Ruby Rod get caught stealing. But then he catches a purple dude stealing, and the first person who caught him stealing no longer exists for some reason.
I had a nickname for this guy. Third Eye for News.
Love it. Oh, yeah,
very
love
good.
it.
Oh, God. Leave.
Yep, that's him.
Podcast is over.
Sorry, that was definitely worth interrupting.
No worries. I was just going to ask if anyone remembers that Hercules television show, because I'm really getting vibes right now.
Oh, yeah. Hardcore. You know what? Yeah, put Sam Raimi in the director's chair of this movie, and fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because, Kevin Sorbo really sums up my feelings on this movie. Disappointed!
We've got to meet a new antagonist. It's Richard O'Brien, and he's got a maze for you to crystal.
I don't know if that joke travels outside the UK.
It might not, but people in the UK are going to love it.
Fuck yeah.
Do you honestly believe that I could have amassed the wealth that I have if I worried about honor? Oh, no. So, pretty boy, if you don't want Hugo here to come and rearrange your features for you, I suggest you just give it up.
Rachel Weisz gets demeaned by him and by our main character at the same time, just for a bit. And then, they all decide to play Dungeons and Dragons. It's lovely. Yeah. There's a maze and a treasure. Ooh, how will each of them sort of use their own skills in order to... only one of them's going to do it.
Yeah.
And he solves it by running, jumping, and trial and error. Great. It's still the highlight of the film so far.
Oh, absolutely. It's visual. It's an actual bit of visual storytelling. They couldn't rely on dialogue for this bit. What's he doing down there? He's decided to look at the axes and try and judge their trajectory. Oh, that's really interesting. I know.
And luckily they had a pretty decent set because that's just Richard O'Brien's house, so they just used that.
Insufferable man with no friends, Richard O'Brien. Do you know Richard Ayoade lives there now by law?
Richard O'Brien still does, but nobody's allowed to talk to him.
Transitive property of Richard.
Yeah. It's a Crystal Maze joke, but that also works really well. That's the universal layer of the joke. So thank you for coming on and making our podcast more accessible.
Christ. So nuanced. But Toothpaste guy, he attacks. He ambushes the whole thing, the whole maze. But surprise, O'Brien has two guys, and so chaos ensues.
Yeah, two unarmed people who jump on top of some armed and armored soldiers.
Yeah,
and that works.
We haven't a chance. So, oh Christ! But then they get away from that. But then Rozzers. There's an elf cop who's followed them from the bar. And she, after communicating sort of with the youthful Empress Amidala, who is still in this movie, is worth pointing out.
Seriously, guys.
She decides to join forces with them,
Sure.
reluctantly. Oh, Rachel Weisz got kidnapped, I think.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Because Toothpaste sucks some memories out of her ears with his ear snakes. Great.
And I'm here too, says the dwarf.
Yeah.
My other follow-up question about the scorpion hand, now brainworm thing. What is the actual thing that is traveling through these pipes?
I know.
You know,
I
like,
thought
Thoughts, Elliot. Thoughts.
Dreams, hopes,
Dangerous thoughts. Dissenting thoughts.
he sucked the dissent right out of it.
This thing is in his brain as like punishment, but somehow he now has control of it, and
Yeah.
it's super useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a curse?
Yeah,
Or is it a blessing?
it's just sponging the information out of him.
It's
and
sponging it.
like, I really want to know what's in those pockets of things that is going from her head to his.
Pin codes.
Physical manifestations of thoughts, Elliot. Jeez.
But look, our heroes have to sneak into the bad guy's castle in order for a great big rescue and to try and confront the bad guy once and for all in what feels like the climax, but I suspect is about an hour in. Let's have a quick time check. 53 minutes. Fuck.
Rad. Well,
Yeah.
is this the showdown between Captain Damn It Dan, the Toothpaste Man from Alderaan,
And Ruby Rod.
and Ruby Rod, and then slightly later Ridley Dungeon Man,
John Main Guy, I called him.
John Main Guy, yeah.
Bargain bin Keanu
That's very
Reeves.
good.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, it's going well. They rescue Rachel Weisz. But oh shit, Ruby Rod sacrifices himself so that... Well, I mean, in order to... Anyway, he sacrifices himself. Luckily, Rachel Weisz had a load of magic on her that she eventually remembers.
Yeah, great. There's some really good acting in this. There's some triumphant music that plays weirdly when Marlon Wayans gets thrown through the window. And yeah, then they have to have a character moment afterwards where John Main Guy and fucking what did you call her? Anne Hathaway? No,
Rachel Weisz.
Rachel Weisz.
Because of the mummy.
Yeah, of course. I get it now. They have conflict. They have an argument. And why doesn't one of us just say what they actually mean so we don't have this fallout, this misunderstanding? I can't. My character's unable to communicate this right now. I have to wait to the end of the third act, and they part ways briefly because whatever. Fuck it, gotta have some tension. And I'm here too, says the dwarf.
I'm still here, everyone. Somebody talk to me.
Yeah, in this whole scene, I just couldn't get, Steve Carell in Anchorman out of my head. I don't know what we're yelling about.
Noises.
He has no idea.
Oh,
He's
fuck.
no idea why he's here. But look, back in Coruscant, the youthful Amidala is giving a lecture about freedom or something. And Jeremy Irons does some just fantastic stuff.
I ask you one last time. Will you submit to the ruling of this council and relinquish your scepter?
And everyone forgets about it. And just...
It's the Alec Baldwin in Team America effect. Greatest actor
I mean,
in the
I'd
world.
follow him anywhere. I'd follow that man fucking anywhere.
Fuck yeah.
He convinces everyone to fight against the Queen. Meanwhile, Tom Baker is here in Rivendell.
Yay.
He's going to talk about the Force and climate change.
Great.
I had a dream.
You saw a dragon being born. It was amazing. Life was exploding all around.
So it should. You see, when dragons are born, they bring new magic with them. Magic is the life force of our world. It keeps nature and everything around us in balance.
God,
I was genuinely excited here because, Tom Baker's character is legitimately how I picture my cleric Baffles in,
that's beautiful.
in our current campaign. And I was just like, PT, that's what it looks like.
And I'm like, that's Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought you were going to say that's just how you genuinely imagine Tom Baker to live in his day-to-day life. Because that's...
Yeah, in a cross between Endor and Rivendell. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also do quite like that the main takeaway he does give the heroes is like, you shouldn't seek the rod, it should not be disturbed. Anyway, off you go to find the rod.
Yeah. Take the sword.
Yep. Take this +1 sword of cinematic climax.
And here's the dungeon where you can finally go and all get together, and as a team, you can solve this... Oh, no, it's John Main Guy again.
Bye.
On his fucking own. But what about that fantastic character dynamic we've built up?
Look at you, Thingo, Dwarfy, and Anne Hathaway?
Sure, close enough.
Rachel Weisz, come on.
Was production like they running out of money and you are blocked now by invisible wall.
We couldn't afford an actual fence or something.
Sorry, just to call back real quick, when they're going for the the big rescue in the villain's camp, the elf lady's basically just like, no, we were not meant to enter this place. This they must complete on their own. It's like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Not even an invisible wall there. Just go it alone.
There's a conversation two of the elves have earlier when John Mainman walks away, and between themselves they go, does he know that he's the chosen one? No, not yet, but he will. And I imagine that was that moment. Oh, he's the one, everyone. Cheers.
2 seconds later, he goes in for the thing. Oh, you must be the chosen one.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, great. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, really playing into the bargain bin Keanu Reeves here. This is, very discount Neo.
Yep.
Oh, fuck. Off he goes into the dungeon from the title.
Yeah. Because at least he'll experience lots of traps and challenges and monsters. Oh, he's there.
Yeah, he's there. He's got it.
Oh, and this
Time
is
for
where the
some
movie
dragons.
turns into Aladdin.
Yep. In the Cave of
Oh,
Wonders.
yeah. He sees a skeleton and he's like, finally a mage who got what he deserved. Dude, you're like dating one now.
Yeah. I thought you
Cool
had that
on that.
moment earlier.
Yeah.
Where you
It's going
thought
to be
mages
awkward
were
at the next family
He
dinner.
should have been all like, not all mages, but instead, he's like,
Yeah.
all mages.
Definitely all mages.
Finally, a mage who got what he deserved, I assume. Assuming he's one of the worst kinds of mages that I've experienced. Not all of them, of course. Anyway, I should grab this rod.
So, we've done the dungeon now. It's time for some dragons.
Yeah. He gets the ridiculous-looking rod. But yeah, meanwhile, the princess had dragons that she and she commands them to attack Jeremy Irons and his League of Bastards. Did we know she had an army of dragons before this? Because I may have missed that.
No, surprise,
that bit.
twist. Twist, twist, twist.
I thought they were the underdogs. Like, I didn't realize our beleaguered...
Yeah.
What if Princess fucking Leia revealed that she had an army of dragons at her command that she just didn't mention earlier on?
I was under the impression that we did know that scepter could control dragons, but that's the thing. They're all like, you need to relinquish your scepter. We've all, voted for it, and you need to, because otherwise you might come after us. And she's like, no, I can't do that. And then at the end of the movie, she does that exact thing. She just attacks them with her dragons. It's like, see, this is what I was talking about.
It's like, why does she have this rod exactly? What was the process there that led to her having this?
Total
Is she
power,
elected?
that's why.
Bitches.
But I'm so innocent, and everyone should be equal, and total power, I'll murder you with dragon.
Jesus, that was going to be the twist. If this had been able to go on, she would have proven to be the ultimate bad guy.
Yeah.
And they'd have teamed up with Jeremy Irons to beat her.
Introduced some amazing social reforms, though, so it's very, 12 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Look, just because she occasionally rides her dragons off and burns a city doesn't mean that she hasn't really done great things to healthcare in this country.
Burns her own city.
Wait, are we talking about Dungeons and Dragons movie or the Bells, the Game of Thrones episode at this stage?
or Obama.
I thought we were talking about Bernie Sanders.
Sanders was so going to be the most militaristic one if he'd gotten in. It would have been great.
He even promised it.
I'm bombing the moon.
Oh, fucking hero.
I could do a better Bernie if I tried. No, there's no time.
Don't know. So Vosloo, Captain not whatever, gets the rod from John Reeves, and
yeah, because outside of the dungeon, everyone just got captured immediately.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so he gives that away. Blacktooth Vosloo turns up and goes to give the rod to Jeremy Irons, and he goes, "You promised you'd free me." And Jeremy Irons just goes, "Ah," and snatches it from him.
Yeah, but then frees him.
Does he?
Yeah, he gets rid of the thing in his head.
Anyway. Like, it feels like it's going to be a sudden betrayal moment. Instead, he's like,
exactly.
and then walks away and then zaps him and cures him anyway.
Oh, I didn't see that bit. There's so much of this film I didn't see.
You need to watch these films, mate.
I thought it was going to be a callback as well, because doesn't Captain Toothpaste have a line where he, earlier in the movie turns around, very slow, dramatically, I lied.
No, it's literally 2 minutes earlier where he's got every other character captured and then, has them, John Heroman, hand over the rod to free them, and he's like, I lied. And then all the captives break free by themselves with no assistance.
No.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have
It's
said
great.
that.
We were just waiting for John Heroman to show up.
And during that fight, I happened to remember the fact that there was an entire section of the Wikipedia article dedicated to fight choreography, which is great.
Aww.
Clearly
Was
shows.
that in quotations? Fight choreography?
Fight, which part, I wonder? Fight quotations and choreography in quotations, different quotations.
Yeah.
Oh, God. But yeah, Toothpaste delivers the rod to Irons, who is now acting at 110% capacity.
You can run your ladyship, but you'll never run far enough. Let their blood rain from the sky.
He's full-blown Irons.
It's gonna blow.
Yeah.
Fucking run, everyone. The cameraman's abandoning the set.
But then, oh God, so Proto Kanu defeats. Well, he beats 11 Irons into submission, and as Thora Birch screams, "Kill him! Kill him! He must die!" The great Wingus himself says, "No, I can't. I refuse to be like him." And you actually, Thora Birch, you're crazy. And but then he smashes the rod, with a sword. See my confusion.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Irons does his best acting in the entire film.
Is this after, incidentally, Irons uses that great rod to summon a whole army of dragons, who then engage the other army of dragons in a big dragon fight? It's the worst thing you've ever seen, and I loved every second of it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, the fact that none of us actually mentioned that until now does prove how bad it looks.
It was the best. It was so good. It was like Spyro the Dragon. It was really good.
What do you mean? Like the same dragon, the repeated assets over and over, but they had, some conveniently yellow and the others palette swapped red, so the audience could keep track. Yeah,
I loved it. It was the best. But
like
Jeremy Irons was great until main guy and his friends, who have some fucking how gotten to this battle. They get control of the dragons, destroy the rod, and kill Jeremy Irons. I hate it. I hate main guy. I really wanted Toothpaste and Jeremy Irons to win.
It gets better though, because it ends with Keanu Reeves getting knighted, and he delivers all this in monologue to his dead friend Marlon Wayans, the snail. Marlon the Snail Wayans, and they say, "That's not all, mate. Why don't you just look back at the stupid tombstone with snail written on it, scratched into it? That's right. He's a magic rock, everyone. He's gonna come back for the sequel."
Voicing the sassy rock.
I love this as well, though, because he's clearly earned some gold for his quest and bought himself a nice little Danny Zuko jacket, but he couldn't get his best friend an actual fucking tombstone.
No, it's the way he would have wanted. To have his name scratched into a rock.
On top of more rocks.
I want to be a Ken.
It was a cultural thing. I saw him do it for his dad. It was because he was poor. It's because he was very poor. No, I think it was a...
He was a Viking, I think. I think that's what it was.
Christ. So with the promise of a sequel just rich on your lips,
Lapping
the
at
movie
your
comes
lips.
to a close. Lapping at your face. The movie ends, and we all breathe a long sigh of relief, satisfaction. Depends what you're up to in the last couple of hours. Yeah, so let's I guess go around and discuss how we found it, starting with the original progenitor of this. BT, how was it on rewatch?
Well, this is actually my second rewatch, and it was every bit I remembered as being,
nice.
Bad in the first half, maybe bad, but at least there's some kind of charm to it that I think does work. There's bits of adventure that's a little bit fun, and then at some point it just turns into just a bad movie.
Yeah.
Until yesterday, when I was mulling over my notes, and then I realized we did not just watch a Dungeons and Dragons movie. We watched the perfect representation of what it's like to play Dungeons and Dragons. This is not a scripted movie. This is a meta-narrative. If you take this exact movie and replace everything with like a DM decision and player characters making dumb choices, that's what happens. So one character, I imagine the very beginning, he's like, okay, you're both standing on a bridge and the lake is on fire. You can talk to each other and introduce your characters. Oh, well, I'm a thief. Oh, no way, I want to be a thief. Guys, you can't both be thieves. It's not going to work. Well, I want to be a thief. All right, fine. You're both thieves. Okay, my name is Snails. Why is your name Snails? It just is. Okay, Jesus.
You're right, actually, yeah. Like fucking Marlon Wayans playing the game is just like, I want to fight the big bad guy. You're definitely not strong enough to do that. I want to do it. All right, fine. Well, go ahead.
We're running out of time, so that explains every single problem in this entire film. So the dwarf who does literally nothing is that guy you invite to one session who introduces his character but then just leaves. So you're like, oh, he's there. He just his player isn't here, so he'll physically be there, but he won't do anything.
And the Rachel Weisz mage is just the person who is enthusiastic to play, but clearly doesn't understand the systems.
Yeah, she's the wizard who like blew all her spell slots on like talk to animals and stuff. It's like, well, you could teleport out of this dungeon, but you wasted all your spells. And he just goes on from there. The bad CGI isn't bad CGI. That's just off-brand minis, not the official Dungeons & Dragons minis.
Which are too expensive.
They're not even like properly painted. They're just literally dipped in yellow or red Dulux paint.
And every single time, like, they don't act as a team and they go in as a single. Sorry, I can keep going.
It's true, but if that's true, I'm going to say Jeremy Irons is like one of their dads who is playing this fucking fit. It's like we need someone to play the villain. And
I spent a season playing Othello. I think I can take care of a little Crothian.
Little child's play.
Yeah. So just as I'll leave that. I'm sure I'll yell more things later. But I do super want to do like a Riff Tracks redub of this movie using those voices in the background because it will amuse the hell out of me.
But I love that idea of the game that, okay, I reach for the object that I'm going for. You fall into a pool of oatmeal.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't check for traps. God, I talked to you. Or at the end when John Hero Man just has the rod that Jeremy Irons has been trying to get the entire movie. It's like, how did you get that? Roll to 20? Okay.
Yeah. We're going to have to try and make this role work in fiction. Fuck it. I just have it.
Fuck it. Well, guys, we're low on time. I'm going to cut this whole scroll bit. We're just going to say
you've got it.
You've learned the
got to end the session somehow. I will say you can't make that story and draw attention to it because if you did, it would be too obvious and pandering. So you have to do it nice and subtle like and hope that everybody gets it. You got it. And now you
could do a Lego movie. Near the end, you could just suddenly cut back to the room. You know, like the Lego movie, you could cut back to the room and everyone's just around the table and Marlon Wayans playing Xbox in the corner. And just and suddenly they're all just like doing fancy. Then you cut back in, but you have to try and
and Rachel Weisz and whoever was playing her character was like, "Why weren't we part of that big fight?" I was like, "You guys left the room. What was I supposed to do?" Same time next week.
Fine.
Okay, that's a very interesting theory. And a good.
I'll be quiet for a while.
Elliot, how did you find it? Was this your first? What is your experience of this before? Sorry, I know I asked earlier.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen this movie, and. Like I said, the past 6 years I've been an enthusiastic amateur of Dungeons & Dragons. You know, I've got my head around some of the basic concepts of the game, one of them being that, you party up and you use, each other's individual attributes that should complement each other and, be in contrast to each other so that you can, as a group, solve puzzles and stuff. And,
yes, that was missing somewhat.
Yeah, and it's just so odd to me that they, pin this all on the Aladdin guy, and it's so much of the focus of the movie that he's the one, and it's like, that's never the point of Dungeons & Dragons, and if it was, everyone would be pissed off at the one person in the party that seems to get all the cool shit to do.
Yeah, I do love how often they just find reasons for someone to leave, like during that whole, thieves maze thing, Snails just gets, kidnapped by authorities, and he comes back later and it's fine, but he's just gone for a few scenes. Obviously the film, like Requiem of a Dream, or in my theory, it's because he had a phone call and had to leave.
Yeah, but even like as they find organic ways, I guess, for these people to party up, and they've got two rogues, but whatever, this can work.
Yeah.
And they just never utilize the team dynamic. Even at the end in the climactic battle, Jeremy Irons just kind of electrocutes them all away and doesn't. And still, it's just fucking Neo helping. Anyway.
Yeah. The lack of a good team dynamic and character, character development was a big, unfortunate shortcoming because you could actually see how that worked. I could see how if you actually gave a shit and wrote these characters, you could actually get a pretty decent, little back and forth here. But
that's why it surprises me that it was a passion project for Courtney because it doesn't really feel like a Dungeons and Dragons movie written by someone who loves the game.
It feels like it was someone had a generic fantasy script and they're like, we have to make a D&D movie. I'll just slap this on and I'll be fine.
The result is, it feels like it's everything crap that someone who doesn't play D&D thinks D&D is.
Which is, again, surprising that it's independent because it just reeks of movie studio interference, but it's not.
Yeah. Well, apparently the studio did insist that he shoot an earlier script than the one that he wanted to, which is weird. Like, I think he had an early script he discarded, but but rumor has it they forced him to film that one because they felt it was more commercial. So I don't know. You're right. What it feels like is exactly like all those video game adaptations where it's like, oh, we need to make a Hitman movie. Well, Bourne is popular. How about we just do Bourne with a bald guy?
Timothy Oliphant.
Who?
Yeah, probably.
Famous
shall we
bald
play-
man Timothy Oliphant.
Shall we play any of the game? Nah.
Yeah.
Do Born with a bald guy. Do bald.
Look, I've
bald
seen the
Born.
front cover of the game. I think I understand how this works. He has a red tie and a bald head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly the.
Wait,
that's
what is
exactly
the first
that game.
Bourne movie?
Identity.
The
Yeah.
Bold Identity. There we go.
Oh, nice.
Then the bold supremacy.
Yeah.
The bold ultimatum is something that we all have to experience. All right, Goodman, how about you?
Oh yeah, it was like I said. This just felt like this isn't gonna win anyone over to start playing D&D, is it?
I don't know. It might be like, I could do better than this.
You think, no, I was right to not play this because this is a shit game for nerds. Like it had some really, really fucking funny moments. Jeremy Irons is amazing.
Yes.
He alone is worth watching this movie. Richard O'Brien was also wonderful.
Yeah, I fucking loved Richard O'Brien.
And I'm just endlessly grateful for him being in this movie. He was also in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, if that's more relevant to you guys, Elliot and BT.
Shock treatment.
But he was the host of a game show in the UK called The Crystal Maze.
Yeah, a wonderful, wonderful game show.
Right.
Which is basically escape rooms before escape rooms were a thing.
Escape rooms hosted by Doctor Who.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
The Doctor, sorry. But yeah, most of this is just so dreadful. It's so disappointingly, infuriatingly dreadful. I hated Marlon Wayans in this.
Oh.
Every second he was on screen was poison for me.
It was Jar Jar-esque.
He was Jar Jar-esque. I just wanted him to be quiet, and I was so surprised at the beginning of this episode to learn that he was a fan of D&D. I guess it's like Vin Diesel. You think it's really cool, and then you watch whatever that film was and go, God, why didn't any of his love for D&D come out?
Oh, The Last Witch Hunter.
Last Witch Hunter.
Yeah.
Well, I felt sorry for Marlon in this as well because his character is essentially useless. Like, at least it seems like the mage and the dwarf don't they get anything to do. At least they seem like they have attributes. It's just I don't know what Snails has going for him. He's bad
literally
thief.
here to get killed and make everybody feel bad. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, he's meant to be the comic relief, I guess. I think he's got a couple of moments. There's a bit when they first break into the fortress and they just decide to split up. So he just pointlessly rolls out of frame. I don't know if that was intentional, but it was funny.
I didn't notice that. It sounds good.
Yeah, and to its credit, it is very uncommon to actually kill the comic relief and have them stay dead.
That's true. I mean, stay dead until the final stinger, but yeah.
Yeah, until the...
I thought maybe he would somehow come back in the climax. I was fairly surprised. I saw it coming, but I was surprised to see it coming. Like, at the point when that scene started, I was like, oh, we're doing this. Okay.
But no, after he got thrown out of the window, they did that spinning overhead crane shot that definitely signifies he was dead.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. You can see it coming a mile off, but you wouldn't see it coming from a mile off. I'll echo a sentiment that was said earlier. Handful of moments actually work as the filmmakers intended, making me feel the sort of fantasy and sense of adventure. I did get that in a few moments. And then there were a lot of moments that are so bad they're good, particularly around certain key players and the bad special effects. And then, the rest is, and the majority potentially is fairly misjudged or underwhelming, particularly around the storytelling, the world building, and the character development. And those are pretty important in fantasy. But
pretty much the main things.
Main things in fantasy is your characters, your world, and the story you tell in it. But I thought about 80s Conan and Red Sonja movies during this, and the acting is about on par with those, and the story, maybe even the action, is pretty much similar in terms of quality. The first Conan the Barbarian had pretty good action, I'll say that. I wondered why I found those movies so much more charming, and I think partly it's the aesthetic. Those movies were shot on film with practical effects and real locations, and that counts a lot in a fantasy adventure. This film looks like a Sci-Fi Channel movie, which has its own charms.
Yeah, that was one of my takeaways, is that it has a real daytime movie feel, and I feel like it works in its favor in the first half, but let's completely down in the back end.
Once you kind of... Because one of your first real introductions is that bad CGI dragon that even its blood is CGI, and I just turned to you at that point and said, could they really not afford corn syrup and red dye? But it's an introduction to, okay, but this is the level of film you're at. Yeah. It's a very daytime, fantasy adventure. Like, okay, I can get aboard with
me
this.
too. I can actually get on by with the nostalgia of that. It's like, I don't know, I think there was a Sinbad TV show on the Sci-Fi Channel in like the 2000s. It was like that. And for me, not as charming as sort of 80s stop motion, puppets,
Well,
whatever else you want to do. And also, there's no vision really with the cinematography. The shots are very often just coverage, and it shows off how cheap everything looks. In particular, the elf cop's costume. That was terrible. Her costume was the worst. Yeah, I could knock together a more authentic Elven Ranger costume out of stuff I have in the house. It's, I've got my mum's wardrobe back there. I'll be fine. This is like
without delving into any of the clothes, you could still put something together.
She had like an aluminium breastplate that looked like tinfoil.
I know, I felt like a perv because I was staring at her breast, but not for any reasons of arousal. It was just, wow, that is a bad-looking breastplate.
Yeah, it's the worst, and it's shot so bluntly.
But you were aroused.
They look like cosplayers.
Well, bad-looking breastplates are his fetish, but still.
And the name of his restaurant.
Oh man, this was just pants.
I found it charming. There were parts of it that served like a little time capsule. This was the last big fantasy flop before the Lord of the Rings came out and changed the genre forever. And there's a lot of 90s and 80s sci-fi fantasy movies sort of ending their canon here. So, yeah.
Well, when you mentioned sort of Sci-Fi Channel, I was like, man, they really should have taken some cues from those sci-fi ensemble shows like Farscape or something, because that's what this movie was really missing. It was trying to be this is the one Oracle guy, whereas D&D's an ensemble thing, so it should have been an ensemble movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, then, like Paul said, it needed well-written characters. It needed a good plot driving it. It needed more work on the special effects, a tighter script. Everything that makes Farscape incredible is missing from this. And I mean, Farscape has the same kind of feelings sometimes that in Dungeons and Dragons makes you go, "That's a so bad it's good" moment. But in Farscape, it's all part of the enthusiasm, like the Henson enthusiasm for world building and creating and character design. And it works in that because the mood is right. You love the characters unconditionally. But in this, it's just pure hilarity.
Man, I'd kill for a fucking Henson Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Yeah. Well, now they've cancelled the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. Maybe we'll have time.
Yes.
Well, they're making it for 2022, so somebody get Henson out there to break into the set.
Oh, I'm just trying to cast. Okay, so Ralph the dog is the bard, obviously.
Kermit's got to be, your hero fighter leader. Reluctantly, so.
Miss Piggy's definitely barbarian. Hi-ya!
Yeah.
She could also be the villain though. She'd play both.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Too often Miss Piggy was cast as a villain, I think. She was a strong woman.
She's an uppity lady, Paul, and she needs to be put in a place by us men.
By Kermit the soldier.
Animal can be the love interest.
Let's get on to quickfiring.
See, the whole theory of mine did spark a second that snails tried to steal a dragon's tooth. I'm like, every player I've ever had kill a dragon wants to steal a tooth. So that's what tipped it off for me.
I was laughing in that moment because it's like, that's so weird. Within the same couple of seconds, oh God, who even did that? I've just got the note electric blue tumbleweed, and it's just one of the CGI effects in this of, just random magic. They get stopped by electric blue tumbleweeds, and the dwarf just lets out this massive durr. Yep. It's just wonderful, bad line delivery.
Is that the same noise it makes when his hot hat gets shot off with an arrow?
Oh, yeah, that's when it is. It's in that back alley. Yeah, that's right.
Bloody hell. Goodman?
I quite liked some of the music, despite the fact that it was a bit nuts.
Yeah, the main theme's pretty good.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember writing it down. In my head, I've got a toneless no. So I remember the rhythm.
Yeah,
but,
I got real that the composer was influenced by John Williams.
Yeah, they were trying to do
vibes,
Indiana Jones.
And especially and during all Captain Toothpaste scenes when he comes into frame, they're using it feels like discount bargain bin version of the Imperial March.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's right, because the Imperial March is dun 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 dun, and this was kind of like that, but like a little quicker, like dun 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 dun. Anyway.
Oh, I love that. They do the same thing in Masters of the Universe. They have to sort of rip off Imperial March.
Really? Oh,
But
I've
hey,
got to see this trash.
Imperial
pile.
March, rip off of Holst's Mars. So, where does it end? Where does it start? Am I right?
Yep.
You know.
And Holst ripped off the Beatles.
Yeah, and,
So
and the Beatles was ripping off some cavemen knocking rocks together, so it's all derivative.
The true
but then they were
genius.
ripping off Morrissey. So really, where does it end?
You want to know
Turtles all
what
the way
Morrissey was
down.
ripping off?
Yeah.
Anyway, I did enjoy Captain Dan the Toothpaste Man. He was fun.
Yeah.
He had some great facial expressions and some really fun line deliveries. And the highlight for me was post brigades at every sewer entrance and exit.
Post brigades at every sewer entrance and exit.
Like the delay before the rest of the line made it sound like he like forgot the rest of the line was coming, or like he suddenly thought he had to be more specific. Like no, not every sewer.
Wait. He felt like he would be in a better D&D movie as well. Like his character felt in place.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that character was part of this world. The rest really weren't. Yeah. Although I do love how slow all his line deliveries were.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
He looks a bit like Jason Isaacs as well. He's got a lot going for him.
Oh yeah. Damn it down the Toothpaste Man.
Just the line of, this rope spell's the only way she can get guys to come home with her. Oh, I'd have to put a feeble mind spell to bring you home. It's like, oh wow, sick burn.
D&D stuff.
Yep, just
there you go, kids.
That's what it's like to play and try to improvise insults.
The elf. The dwarf in one of the few
who I
things
don't even
he
think
gets
has a
to do.
name.
The dwarf.
I left space to write it down and I never came back to it.
Short John.
Nobody calls him by name again after that.
Damn. And yeah, they went to the effort of naming snails, but they couldn't give our my beardy dwarf buddy
He's
a
like, I'm
name.
also snails.
Yeah, he's not at all enchanted by the elf at all.
Yeah.
He not enough meat on the bones, and you need some hair on the chin, something you can hang on to.
I did love that. That was a very unexpected line.
As he's just wolfing down fucking some Woolies roast chicken. Oh, God bless his
That's pretty great.
cotton socks.
His cotton beard.
So yeah, Richard O'Brien in general was great,
Yeah.
but his mannerisms and just his face, but most of what he delivered. But the line I wrote down was,
Has anyone ever finished it before?
No. They all died trying.
He's got a wonderful smile.
Just blunt.
Richard O'Brien. He's got this wonderful. He is camp. He's just the definition of camp in every way. He's absolutely.
He was the
wonderful.
other character I felt genuinely belonged here because that is like pure NPC fodder. That is amazing stuff.
Yeah, he loves every day of his life in this place. I liked Purple Dude, and I have a line of his written down, but I can't remember how he delivers it. But the line was just, I'll sample it, but the line is something like, take them away.
Oh, take her away.
Yeah.
I've written that down and put like an unnecessary amount of H's in there.
Yeah, I couldn't think how to, I clearly couldn't express how to pronounce it. So I've just written it that way, but we'll hear it. We'll hear it now.
Take them away!
Reaction sounds.
Well, you know what laughter sounds like.
You can imagine it for yourselves. BT.
Oh, you almost skipped me, like
Initiative order.
Like shitty Jeremy London was skipping tiles, like when he was in the what's his face's series of challenges, which, by the way, got easier as they went along. Significantly. Even the fire room wasn't like.
The last was just break the hourglass. That sucks.
There's a subversion. It was a little
What
trick.
an easy puzzle, right? But
Sucks.
yeah, and even in the fire room where he's playing that game when you're a kid, you're only stepping on certain tiles when you're walking in the mall or whatever. Like, even then, you could have just run for it. That wasn't
he did
like...
in the end,
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't like really high-powered fire.
No.
You take the singed hair.
That said, I do like how some of the save tiles flip over as he's about to step on them.
That was
pretty
cool. Yeah, that was fun.
That's a good game mechanic. I think I saw that in Mario Galaxy. Very good.
That was my next thing, actually. That whole scene in general, it's, it may be a few basic things, but I liked where, the wall was closing in, so he goes to step on a red eye because he has ascertained that they're the safe ones, and it flips to yellow, and so he has to, rethink. Just generally, this whole thing, like I said earlier, it couldn't rely on dialogue. It had to tell a visual story, which was great. It was just such a nice change, and Nell and I both be getting angry as this film had been going on, and mostly from Marlon Wayans, but this scene happened, and we went, that was all right. But there was another bit in particular. Again, like, his solution wasn't all that impressive, but there's this. He presses himself against the wall of this corridor with the swinging axes, and the camera focuses on his face and then the axes, and it's communicating that he's watching the axes and figuring out what to do, which is great.
Yeah.
I suddenly could, like, that was audience surrogacy. I could go, okay, here I am.
What would I do?
Yeah. Fucking powerful stuff. Take that. Tarkovsky, the champion of linear storytelling,
of audience surrogacy. Yeah, fuck that guy. Okay. I'll say that the porridge carpet looked quite good. I know it was actual porridge and that it fucked up Marlon Wayans, and he still describes it as like the worst day of filming ever. But it looked good, when the fact that the pattern of the carpet was kind of still on top of the oatmeal. He was just kind of sinking into it. Yeah, I thought that was decent effect.
It was the one part of the movie that I was like, I'm surprised that they're going practical here when they've gone CGI overload everywhere else.
True, they could have easily had CGI gloop.
Yeah. But then, he had to have porridge on him for the rest of the movie.
And then he died.
He died shitty and porridgey.
All right, I do have to throw a special mention to the bit where they get sucked into the map, because I literally stole this idea and used it in one of my campaigns, where the party found a map of a dungeon, but shock horror, the map was the dungeon and they got sucked into it. I am
awesome.
bummed. Yeah, well, the big difference is they actually got to play out what it was like to be in that dungeon, whereas here they just kind of come out again and go, oh, this is what the Wraith told us, and we also had a bit of a thing in there, and also we're kind of friends now and maybe in love?
So you
wait, what?
So you didn't just roleplay the two people left outside the map, and like, so guys, you've got an hour to kill, what do you talk about? And then you text the other guys what they found in the dungeon.
That could be an interesting dynamic, though, where like two of the players have to stay outside of the map protecting the map, and maybe there are enemies, and if they cut the map, then that part of the dungeon gets fucked up.
Just like in
this
movie.
That's cool. I might have to revisit this idea.
Oh shit, they spilled beer on it, and then inside there's like a flood of beer.
Yeah. Come on, that would be pretty sick.
That would have been interesting rather than they go away, they come back. Oh, what an adventure we've had.
I know. Oh, wow, you guys should have been there. And if this was like more of a comedy-focused thing, that would be a pretty funny joke to be like, they go in, hate each other, they come out as like romantic partners and be like, oh, it was such an adventure in there.
Really,
we lived a whole life in there.
Yeah, just amazing.
Yeah, it's like, because obviously we're watching Game of Thrones at the moment for our other podcast, Thrones of Game.
Oh, yeah.
And I've found a lot of Daenerys storylines is like cutting away and then cutting back after clearly a lot of action has happened. And this is just all that reminded me of.
Well, you guys are heading into a period of them having much less budget, so that shit's going to be happening a lot more. Woo. It's like, how's Robb Stark's war against the South going? Yeah, great. 3 more battles. Vicious, bloody things. Really horrible.
For context as well, people out there, we're watching it backwards.
Oh, yeah. So you're heading into cheaper territory. Eventually it will look like Dungeons and Dragons.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I've lost track of where we were. Whose was that? Was that?
I just went.
It's me, more of me talking. And this is one of my favorite bits of the movie, one of the few times I had to rewind it, which was in the scuffle scene where the scroll is going around everywhere and the mage is on the floor trying to reach for it.
Yep.
And Mr. Toothpaste, he kind of looks like the Mr. Sheen Man as well, doesn't he? He puts his boot down on the map and completely misses it. Like, he maybe puts his foot on a corner that was just poking out of the scroll. It's meant to be, that moment where he steps on the scroll and there's no getting it.
And Marina looks up and is like, gulp, and she could easily pull it away.
Yeah. It is fantastic. I implore everybody to watch the entire movie again just for this one scene.
That is wonderful.
There was one moment of Marlon Wayans that I liked. I think he's standing. Is he in Damn It Dan Captain Toothpaste Man's rooms or something? And he's standing behind the empty suit,
right?
And he takes a big nasally breath and goes,
"I'm Damn It all."
It was strangely appealing. The deepness and richness of the voice. Bit of control in his performance there.
Yeah.
So
well,
that would have been good.
My one's going to be one of his lines too, and I can't decide whether or not this is shit on purpose. But it is shit. It's just about whether or not it was meant to be. The line is,
"Just like you thieves, always taking things that don't belong to you."
That's brilliant. You'd put that in a parody.
That was my next
You would put that in a parody, and I can't decide whether or not they knew that was brilliant.
Scary Movies Marlon Wayans. Was that his suggestion? Like,
that's so shit. It's perfect. I love it.
Okay, I'll just have Snails be like, "Oh, is that what I've been doing?
Am I the baddie?
Guys, am I a cliche?"
No,
someone's got to tell me.
You've got, all those things you've got.
So one thing I kind of don't get is that purple guy with the extra eye in his head, who looks quite expensive. I don't understand why that isn't a more recognizable D&D race, like a Drow or a Geth Zerai or something.
Fuck.
My only guess is maybe it's like a deep cut and this is like from the 2nd edition or something like that, but it's just weird that of all the races they could have picked from, they made one up.
The purple dudes, yeah.
So,
I mean, we have we talked about the Beholder sequence, so to speak.
Yeah.
One of the most recognizable, iconic Dungeons and Dragons monsters ever. And it's in the background of scene, never looks at the camera, and is distracted and just floats off.
Oh, the Medusa ball thing. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
So annoying.
Yeah, it's weird. It felt like
but it was
extra scenes. When...
It was a very point to it moment of, oh, look, a beholder.
These people
nudge.
have seen D&D before.
Yeah.
Look, we're getting feedback that this isn't D&D related enough. I need you to shoot another scene with... but we've got no money left. Just do something.
Put on a hat.
Yeah, that's what so many scenes of this movie reek of. We've run out of money. Like, because they can, put a lot of makeup into Third Eye Guy.
One dude. The entire movie, one dude.
But they're like, okay, we'll just have to do a pool of porridge on this one.
We'll pool of porridge trick.
I've only got two more, but Toothpaste has an unfortunate moment when he's like about to interrogate Rachel Weisz Mage, and he's like holding his sword like threateningly, but it's just it looks like he's holding his dick and walking along.
Love that. It's all symbolism.
Okay, my last one before our final thing is the final fight between Ridley and Damn It Dan Toothpaste Man owns all of his shit in a caravan.
Yeah.
Had some speed to it. Some of the hits even look good. Some of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a few of them anyway that sort of you could see them kind of connect. And one thing I've been a lot really wary of, more aware of recently is how slow and cumbersome and rubbish a lot of fight scenes look in movies and TV nowadays. I'm just more aware of it now. I think I'm becoming slightly more cine literate, not cine literate, but fighty literate. And I don't know. There's just something about shoddy editing that stands out.
Yeah.
And this movie had lots and lots of it. There was the occasional moment when there was a sequence where I went, "Oh bloody hell, that was thrilling." For a few seconds. And this fight scene had a bit of that.
Good stuff. Glad to hear it. All right, I will say Tom Baker. A warm presence, a authoritative voice. I loved his scene. Just something, everything about it felt like a movie. It just everything seemed to click in that one moment. Maybe because our main guy was unconscious as well. That helped. But yeah, I just fucking love the guy. He's got such a wonderful manner to him, and really came across in his one scene in this as the king of the elves.
Yay!
Okay, let's go around and just empty. Let's finish this off. So, BT, any you've got left?
I want to see just once in a movie because they have that bit when they're in Rivendell or whatever it is, and they go for the we were arguing, but now we're going to kiss. I want to see that fail just once
I think I've
in
seen
a movie
it fail.
and have someone go, I'm sorry, I totally misread that situation. really sorry. Is this gonna be awkward? It's gonna be awkward.
Well, that was my final note actually, where Jonathan Failure Thomas just totally exceeds the movie kiss there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. Look at it. It feels like he's like going for way more of an open mouth than she is, and like it really looks gross.
Yeah.
Like
Gotta love that.
You've got to go.
Jurassic
for the open
World.
mouth.
It happens in Jurassic World. The guy goes in for a kiss and doesn't get it.
Right. Yeah, but I don't want to watch Jurassic World.
Fair enough.
That movie sucks.
Oh, you kidding? It was the comedy of the year.
And then wrote down in all caps, never split the party. And when, John Hero Man finds the skeleton, he's like, but you must break the spell. He's like, but how do I break the spell? I just wanted the skeleton to be like, look, dude, if I knew that, I would not be a skeleton in a Dungeons.
Look at me.
What about me says great life choices right now.
Yep. And I'll just cap with the last one. In the big fight between Jeremy Irons and John Hieroman, like, Jeremy Irons just summons this awesome stuff and just begins beating the crap out of him with him, and then just chucks it away. It's like, so again, I'm going to call back to my meta-narrative and be like, okay, the DM is like this, he's going to kill them, and I have to just have him nerf him. I'm just going to say he throws the scepter away. That's fine.
Yeah, that's what happens. He uses the scepter to conjure another scepter, which is seemingly more powerful.
Keeps
and
blocking all the very weak sword strikes.
And then he throws both of them aside.
He's like, I don't need either of these. God, I'm dope. It's like, we just need to end this session. Just, look, he gets rid of the scepter, whatever.
Yeah, the piece is here. It's getting cold. Let's just fucking...
Yeah.
Let's just deal with it.
I'm not going to lie, I lost that page. It wasn't great, and we didn't do that much with it last week, did we? It's fine.
Just keep moving, and that is going to be all my notes.
Great. Elliot, are you out?
Yep.
Goodman's out?
Yup.
Okay. I thought Skeleton Guy was well designed, and I quite liked the main guy's final costume that he's wearing in the graveyard scene. Right. That brings us to the piece de resistance. The fucking
piece de resistance.
The piece de resistance. The reason to watch this fucking movie really is that's just not unbelievably not yet Sir Jeremy Irons.
I've enjoyed our little chat, but now it's your time to die. Back for more. You really think you can use that, you little burglar?
Just giving it his all. He's wonderful. He's in this movie because Joel Silver knew him from Die Hard with a Vengeance, where he's also great.
Yeah.
And
for real.
I think he took it because his kids liked the game or something, and oh man, what a great gift from a dad is a performance in this movie.
It's the antithesis to cynicism, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just the complete opposite of that. Yeah.
He doesn't choose scenery. He makes a ham and cheese sandwich out of the scenery and then just eats it.
Applies extra condiment.
It's so good.
He takes that croque monsieur and a bar of chocolate and takes alternating bites. It's delicious.
I remember
and fucks it.
I've seen certain bits of this. I've seen certain bits of this on YouTube before, and at one stage whilst watching this, my mother came in. And I was like, oh, Mum, look, it's Jeremy Irons. And I suddenly really worried it wasn't going to be one of the big YouTube-worthy bits. But there are no such bits. It was fine. Immediately, within 5 seconds, she was like, this is brilliant.
Yeah, I want to see this character in everyday life. Like, hello, I would like to order a pizza. The Empress will not let me. Oh, my God.
Yeah, his grandstanding. Just his booming in lieu of any actual point, and just getting people support regardless is very much how I felt about his performance. The one I wrote down at the end was just because I had to try and transcribe it and decide how to spell every single word that he pronounced. when Jeremy Kanu decides to break the rod and he drops to his knees or whatever. No, he doesn't drop to his knees. He just throws his arms out to the side and goes, no! as he reaches for the rod. What have you done? And also, his when he's goes to kill Ridley at the end, he has the longest spell.
Yeah.
It takes him so long to get it all out. If it would have it was a very poor choice.
It was just magic missile.
If he'd just had like magic missile, it would be done. But no,
he's commanding
the minute-long spell.
Dozens of red dragons. Why are they just a background to this scene?
He's still summoning them. That was all their names.
Yeah, it really makes
and they're very long names.
It really makes me want to read the script and just see what was there and what was just pure Irons. Because especially that bit where it's like, Damodar's all, but you said you would cure him. He just goes, ah! Like, was that in the script? Or was it just Irons just offhanded? It was supposed to be,
say that.
Oh, of course, my friend. I value your friendship, and I said I would do this. He's like,
That was a typo.
What'd he say?
Anywho, look, we've got to bring this to a close. So, Goodman, did we get anything from the OG team?
Let me just have a quick look from the OG team while we're waiting.
OG team.
Beej and Elliot, can we get a quick OG team from you?
OG team.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
OG team!
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh, damn it.
The OG team cannot threaten us now.
And
To be able to...
if I can just do a quick Thora Birch OG
Go
team. OG team.
Perfect,
Oh, no.
nailed it.
OG team,
Yeah,
like D&D,
the people.
losers.
I will not condone a course of action that would lead us to OG team.
Crap, Flicks and Chill said, the best thing about the D&D movie has to be Damodar's contractual obligation to dazzle wearing Ichiban lipstick for men.
Ichiban.
Oh, fuck. Very good. And we've got a link to Joey's lipstick commercial.
Yeah.
Sean Flurl, enemy of the podcast, Sean Flurl. I haven't read this tweet yet. He said, apparently I'm in a feud with Goodman. Meet me in the parking lot at noon tomorrow, you coward. Let's end this. Well, joke's on him, because that was yesterday, and he's probably...
You weren't there.
Still in that hour.
Yeah.
He's just a skeleton holding onto a rod.
It went south so quickly. Which park was he in?
I went and found the rod and everything. Oh, and apparently this film was used to excite moviegoers towards Fellowship of the Ring, so it's a good thing that they wanted you to like a far superior film. It is good that they wanted you to do that and not go out and do something
That was a Bob
crazy
Shea
like...
initiative, I imagine.
Yeah. Staff Rakad didn't even have anything to do with it.
He felt it.
And then Yamasaki Meshitero said, "This is God. I have to just apologies in advance for not doing that properly. This is solidly the best of the D&D movies. I'm super happy others out there are into this film. Love Heart. It might well be the best of the D&D movies. I don't know. I haven't seen any of the others.
The third one's actually pretty good. I haven't got to it yet.
Oh yeah.
Well, the second one has Davadar in it, right? Has Blue Toothpaste Man.
I've just realised every time we've done this podcast, we've done a part of a discount film franchise and just not any of the other movies.
And ignored them completely.
Yeah.
Although if Captain Dan Toothpaste Bluetooth Salesman is in it, then I'm all game.
Ah, well.
All game? Yeah.
Thank you, OG team.
Thank you, OG team, for that marvellous contribution. I haven't checked Facebook yet.
Oh, you did that?
I don't think we got anything.
Okay, well, fuck it then.
Yeah, fuck it. Fuck everyone.
Yeah, fuck Facebook.
Yeah, sick.
Sick, blood.
Thanks, OG team.
Okay, thanks, OG team, again. Elliot and BT, how can people find out about all of your wonderful diabolical works?
Are we doing a quick one better thing, or...?
Oh, fuck, okay. One better thing. The one better thing.
We'll be quick.
Always got another little segment for
love
me,
it,
haven't you?
Love it. I love reminding you of your great ideas.
Love it. All right, yes. Elliot, do you have a... Let's start with Elliot. Do you have a one better thing?
Fuck, I didn't have one, Shane, but someone else go. I'll have a thing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
BT?
you can check out the series by, I don't know what it's called, just The Gamers. And it's very brief, but it is 3 separate, very fan films. One's based on D&D, one's based a little bit more on, I think, like a Magic the Gathering kind of thing. They're good, and they are obviously fans of the genres they're talking about, and they're funny, and yeah.
Lovely.
And also, I would say for your ensemble adventure, your Firefly slash Serenity. It's sci-fi instead of fantasy, but it is your ensemble cast on adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah, for lack of something else coming to my brain, any of the Muppets movies are good ensemble shows. And Farscape, fuck it.
I was definitely going to recommend Farscape. I just got into this recently. Nell's got me into it, and I'm officially obsessed.
Stop.
Yeah, it is a completely superior ensemble series. Brilliant sci-fi fantasy.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So I guess in place of that, Stardust is a film that comes across as it's maybe to the people who don't know anything about it, got the same reputation as like a fantasy that you're not necessarily going to be into, but it's actually very, very good, funny, well acted, and surprising at every turn.
Yeah.
So that's how you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good fun.
And yeah, BT just reminded me, of course, the other thing I mentioned before was, the Dungeons & Dragons episode of Community, which is, I think, pretty much started the spark of why we started playing it, right? Like,
there were a couple, I'm not sure what the first thing was.
Reintroduce the conversation.
D&D. There were a couple of things that kind of pushed it into the mainstream. The Mabim Bam guys doing the Adventure Zone. You have the, like you say, the D&D episode of Community, Stranger Things. Had D&D in it, and
even before that, you'd have Critical Role and
Critical
Acquisitions
Role.
Incorporated.
Yep. So there was a few things that sort of came about at once that kind of led to the big D&D assance that we're all currently in. Which is good stuff.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like a lot of things in Community, they couldn't recreate the magic with their second Dungeons and Dragons episode, but the first one is still astounding storytelling, and definitely worth it.
Okay, I'm gonna first of all, like I said earlier, Conan the Barbarian and Red Sonja, they're bad movies. Conan the Destroyer is a bad film, but my God, if I don't have a soft spot for them. And Arnie with an unintelligible accent, who shows up in Red Sonja not playing Conan for no reason. He could easily be Conan in it.
I am Hercules.
Hercules in New York,
Arnie,
also worth a watch. Maybe they just couldn't get him to say I'm Conan. You tell him.
What?
But also, for some reason, whilst watching this, maybe it's something to do with the graphics being roughly on par, but I kept thinking about the first Witcher game. I think The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt, exploded and everybody has played that, even people who've never played the games before, but I would recommend the first Witcher game. It's a little janky and it's split up into chapters, and some of the locations it's kind of segmented off in a way that maybe makes it feel like you're playing levels rather than a whole open world, but I just remember really loving it and its lore. And it does something really interesting with the sort of racial tensions between elves and mortals and magic users and non-magic users, and there's a whole plot going on there, and Geralt is just such a charming fucking character, and it's distinct in my head for being mostly set within the city, whereas you spend a lot of The Witcher 3, out in the rural communities, so I like the sort of
in the countryside.
Yeah.
In the wilds, hunting.
Exactly. Hunting wildly.
Wilds. Hunt.
So yeah, I recommend the first Witcher game. The second one I played a bit of, then I took a break and came back and couldn't figure out how any of the controls worked. So maybe it's great too. It probably is.
Fuck, if we're mentioning video games, there's so many you could obviously throw to, but I want to give a shout out to one that I don't think many people would have played. Is the series called Trine?
Oh,
Trine.
Yeah.
You can get them pretty cheap. They're often on sale, but it's just really clever platforming mechanics with 3 party members, and they all have different attributes, and it feels very much in this realm. So, yeah, exactly.
I bought Trine,
I
bought Trine in the Steam sale, Trine and Trine 2 in a Steam sale about 10 years ago, and I haven't played them yet. I shall.
Yeah, no, they're all 4 of them are wonderful. Yeah,
Dungeon Siege was the big sort of role-playing game of my childhood. I think that got me into the whole thing, and that was a party dynamic game as well. Although it was a Baldur's Gate alike, so. It was a bit portrait and text heavy. Anyway, yeah, go play and watch all of those things.
Yeah, fuckers.
Now, that was the one better thing. The one better thing. BT and Elliot, how can people find out about all your stuff?
I guess the big thing we want to talk about at the moment is our new podcast. It's a scripted fiction series, Pulp Fury Radio.
Yeah, this is a series where we've an anthology series where we've taken pulp genres like sci-fi, fantasy, and noir and horror, and just scripted roughly 45-minute to an hour scripts with professional actors and sound effects and all that kind of stuff. And if you enjoy your fantasy, check out Working Class Wizards. I'm very proud of that one. That is a mashup of just all things fantasy and a bit of a parody, a bit of a goof, but I still love it, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. And listen closely. You'll hear some enemies of the show in Sean Flell and all the other baby bearders in there as well.
Oh, we hate those guys.
Can't get them out of this podcast.
And also Ellen and Chris and Phil, whose names escaped me for some reason. Probably because we hate them so much.
Babies don't have beards, what?
But,
nonsense.
We're also reviewing TV shows at the Simpsons Index, where we've had the OGT guys on a couple of times now, and we review old and new Simpsons there, and we're also reviewing...
our other podcast is Thrones of Game, where we're reviewing Game of Thrones backwards. So I've already seen the entire show, but Elliot had never watched a single episode until we started watching in reverse order, and we recently had one of these polls on, but which one? You'll have to listen to find out. It was Goodman.
Whoever he is.
They didn't ask me.
I asked them. I hounded them.
Yeah,
for weeks. Hey guys, I know you're an expressly 2-person show, and you have been for many seasons right now. But me, Me? Guys.
We like throwing in surprises. Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yep, renegades.
Well, speaking of pew pew pew, Paul, how can people pew 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 us?
They can pew 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 us all the way to Twitter and Facebook. Can't think of a way to join those two things. Pew pew pew. OGT Pod. You can send us an email at gmail@ogtpod@gmail.com. Paul, did you think of a pew 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 link?
No.
Is that what that was going to be?
I turned around and started scratching my butt. This is the bit I don't get to talk in. It's great. I love it. It's my holiday. Leave me alone.
Oh, sweet. Well, you go back to enjoying that.
I will.
You can talk some bollocks for another 30 seconds. You can hear more bollocks from me to a silent Paul, often disdainful, on Spotify, on which we're on now. We also have a Patreon of which Elliot is a member. I know BT said he was going to, probably, in my dreams. But he would like
the
it if he were to sign
content,
up, because
dude.
we've just released a spooky, totally accurate battle simulator Let's Play, which turned out very, very well.
Yep. Nearly melted my computer, but it was worth it.
Yeah. I think if we only get through one high-end gaming computer a week, just to get some of these 30-minute Let's Plays out to our adoring patrons, then I think it's all worth it.
Fuck yeah.
Paul, when's that next one being delivered? We have also just released our pitches for our slasher franchises. Paul did Friday the 13th, and this Paul did Nightmare on Elm Street. They're both very, very good and sexy. I'll tell you that for nothing.
Like Jason and Freddy themselves.
Like Robert Englund himself, commenting on how much he enjoys working with the young naked women, like in the good old days.
Yeah.
Other than Elm Street 2, and other than that, well, there is more to come.
Ooh.
In many respects.
Inevitably, it just keeps on coming.
It really does.
Yeah.
Make it stop.
I'm Paul Pew Pew.
I'm never going to stop.
I'm Elliot J. O'Neill.
And I rolled a 1.
And remember, the one good thing about Dungeons and Dragons is...